Nebula don't care. Objectives aren't real. Objectively, they're objective.
Objective, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to, make the game last longer because this is going to be quick. So we are going to start out with Black Widow over here.
Tizzy, I hate to say it, but I think Magneto is probably the weakest of the... Jesus. I'm not sure I'm allowed to legally say this. I love mommy. Thank you for the follow. I'm not sure if I'm not...
There's Domino. Gotta love her.
Domino. Orders usually in 30 minutes.
Goals
You get
down.
10 pizza points every time you play her.
Domino is definitely a X-Men wine mom.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yep. Trans Zemo.
Bullseye down there at the bottom of the board for Sooner, and then he is going to place his Deadpool right on top.
Deadpool.
And there's Cable, hanging out with his best friend, Baron Zemo.
I look like a spook.
Or the chin, because these areas are the ones that jut out the most, so it requires more hair for it to be harder to see. It'll be like the most transparent. And then just make sure you get along the ridge line, or the jaw line. And then just make sure you also make sure it's in front of the ear, because that's where the hair actually grows. So if they have something on their face, that makes it easy. But what you do is you can do a couple layers, and what this will do...
Sooner, putting another W under the belt.
Yep.
Got to thank the person that is shackled in his basement. He's given him all the practice he could possibly need.
Yep.
This is incredible. What an upset.
Tizzy, I hate to say it, but I think Magneto is probably the weakest of the... Jesus. I'm not sure I'm allowed to legally say this. I love mommy. Thank you for the follow. I'm not sure if I'm not... Or the chin, because these areas are the ones that jut out the most, so it requires more hair for it to be harder to see. It'll be like the most transparent. And then just make sure you get along the ridge line, or the jaw line. And then just make sure you also make sure it's in front of the ear, because that's where the hair actually grows. So if they have something on their face, that makes it easy. But what you do is you can do a couple layers, and what this will do...
Which is kind of brutal, especially when you have somebody like Toad who's like, I'm just going to hang out back here, snap that one objective, and then run away. He now can't do the runaway piece. So it's kind of like Black Widow's the same way. Nebula out there. Objectives aren't real. Objectively.
So I'm just trying to, make the...
It's me. So 2 people? I don't know if that's true. Although I would suspect that the thing has not gone out yet. Because that doesn't make sense.
Pushing yourself can push you to the limit.
Yep. Well, it's because I gotta get I gotta make sure everybody knows what's happening. It's for 5 people in here. Text Wargaming. Hi. How's it going, buddy? I even have liquid. Did you put more water in this? Did you put more water in this, or did I? Oh. I always have my best interest in mind. That's for sure. Well, hi guys. We're here to paint more white.
So I was thinking, I really hate the colors on my...
Mm-hmm. Oh, there it goes. Hi, Lindsay.
Can we maybe clean those later and I make them white later?
I got about half of what you were saying.
I don't like my colors.
I heard that.
I want to do white.
Okay, heard
I'm
that.
Pick another model that's already primed.
Okay.
Work on white.
Just paint that white. Got it. Yeah, we can do that.
Later, can we trash those colors?
Yeah. Okay, so today we're going to do these Russians, which I think is how you say it in French, which we were looking at yesterday. And they are in these little snowsuits, so they're going to be mostly white. We're going to go over how to do this membership card. I think it's another guy, man. I don't know about no membership card. Yeah, so we're going to paint these up in white. It's going to be a lot of what we did yesterday. It's just going to be a lot more examples of what we did, which is good because practice always makes perfect in that regard. So if you have not painted white before, you'll definitely, hopefully, know it by now, or at least by the end of this for sure. So these are the Warlord. I think the technical name of them is Winter Suit, like Veterans in Winter. I showed you the skin. I'm missing something here. Listen, man, I've seen a lot of skin in my day. A lot of it I'm not proud about. Listen, I have regrets. I have rag rats, and I don't know. Don't be a rag rat. Don't do it, please. Yeah. Anyway, so these are the veterans in snowsuits. I threw away the box, but they're really cool sculpts. They're metal, and they're nice and simple. Which I'm a simpleton, so I really appreciate that the Warlord models are easy. So this isn't the first army I've ever painted. So one of the first things I always recommend is if you're gonna paint squads, usually I'll paint them in as many of these handheld things that I have. These are like the original Citadel ones. I think they're different now. I think they're made out of like even cheaper stuff. I sat next to you. Oh, it's Steven. Oh, it's the other pseudoscientist. Oh, the membership card. It's on the way. It's got your name on it and everything. It's gonna be great. Where's my You thought I was gonna recognize that name, brother? Listen, I love that you're here, but I'm happy I'm up to speed. I can't say the name. It's a secret though, because if somebody knows the name, they're gonna steal it. They're gonna steal your code name. So I'm pretty sure I have 6 of these things, and I am such a train wreck that I only see 4 of them. That means Kara's stolen them. Oh, there's one over there. Yep, Kara stole that one. Make sure you knock your models around. I do a lot of that.
What'd I do?
Here they. Okay, I found them all. They're all 5. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to just do some airbrushing. So today will be a little bit of an airbrush tutorial. That's fun. Hooray! So when you're doing an airbrush thing, in my opinion, I always recommend that you do it where you're painting more than one thing at a time, just because of the cleanup. Because cleaning up the airbrush is probably the most important part, and you really don't want to go through the cleanup process if you're just like painting a single model at a time. So, in my opinion, whenever I pull that sucker out, I usually like to have a queue of things that we should do. Very similar to like a priming session. So like if you have a bunch of models that you want primed, I'll also do it at the same time that I paint a model or whatever. And you can also just hold them with your hand. You're going to get your fingies covered in the paint, which is fine. These guys are already primed with this gray, so that's really going to speed up the white. And it's going to be... Yeah, gloves are for yellow bellies. And the black primer that we did yesterday, it took me, if I remember correctly, like 4 coats with that white blue. This time, it'll probably only take like 1 or 2, especially with an airbrush. So, for me, I usually use a Wada. This is an Eclipse. Generally, this is not the old ones. I know the old ones are like thicker. They're like made out of like a heavier metal. This is one of the, if I remember correctly, one of the newer ones. I usually keep them deconstructed just because of the fact that a lot of times, I've been using this guy for quite a while. Hi, Dan. We're talking about airbrushes. and which a lot of questions I get about airbrushes are like paint consistency mostly is a thing. The one thing that I'll say about whenever I use an airbrush is that if you don't clean it properly, what'll happen, and it's infuriating, is the needle will go in it and it'll get stuck where you can't pull it out. So, and this is kind of suggestive. This is something Dan would do. This is what he does in his free time.
The whole time you were describing that, I was like,
Yeah, it's a very suggestive movement. All right, so this is where we need mommy milkers to subscribe again. So, oh boy, thankfully there's only 9 people here. Somebody, make sure you don't clip that. Make sure nobody clip that. Anyway, so when the thing gets clogged up, what you'll notice is that a lot of times, like in this area of the brush, there will be like a paint clog up, which a lot of people like to think it's the bucket, Mr. Bucket, and it's not. It's usually like somewhere near the nozzle. So if you're ever using it, the reason I'm bringing this up is it took me forever to figure this out. Shut up. And whenever you're doing painting stuff and your airbrush is not acting correctly, what I always recommend is you have a like little set of pipette cleaners. I always recommend that you know where they are too, so that you're not like looking for them like a big old dummy. Yeah, here they are. So I've been using these guys for a long time. I should, quite honestly, I should replace these things, but as you can see, this one doesn't even have any like bristles on it anymore, and a lot of these have been warped by my attempts to use like airbrush cleaner and all that stuff. So if you have an airbrush and it seems like it's eternally clogged, my personal advice is check back here, and you might find something back here. And I've ruined so many airbrushes now that I just have extra needles. So this is a Sotar needle, which mine broke a long time ago because like the case got cracked or something like that. I was doing too much of this. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so if you ever are having trouble getting in there, what you could always do is you can use a needle. This one's a little bent, has like the tip is a little bent, and you could even do that on purpose. You can actually use it to like scrape. Not a great way to do it because it will cause like a surface area for the paint itself to stick to, but it's a great way to get rid of like a really stubborn clog. And you can always use a brush cleaner and restorer, and you can even coat it on the needle just to get in there and see if you could get something out. In that case, you probably don't need the actual tip. And when you do that, make sure you wash it out because this will eat the coat on the airbrush, and it will ruin your airbrush. I have learned that lesson. That's what happened to my Patriot 105, I think. I think I left it in there for too long, and it'll eat it. Eat it! Alright, so anyway, here we go. I've been yammering too long, talking about whatever, to the few people that are here. Oh, let's turn on the music. I'm a classic professional. Classic. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And give me a heads up if the music's too loud. I can always give it a little bit of an adjust. Okay, so first thing, if you're ever going to do airbrushing, which I feel like I'm not exactly breaking the mold here. I mean, airbrushing has been around forever now. It's not like I'm pioneering this by any means. But I use these little medicine cups that you get from like Walgreens or whatever. Really, really good for just like mixing. As you can see, I've used these 1 or 2 times, and if it dries, you can just put paint on there. It really doesn't make a huge difference. And then one of the other things I always recommend people pick up is this called a pipette. Also, you get it from CVS. It's a great way to be more precise with your water. And you should use clean water, but I'm lazy and I don't want to get more water. So I'm just going to use some of my paint water. Again, relatively clear. And I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drops. In this case, we could always make more. Because usually when I'm doing stuff like this, I'm usually doing it on like a squad of 5. I don't usually do a full 10, but as needs must. So obviously you plug it in. I use a Wata. They say a Ninja Anist to Wata. Yeah, it's called the Ninja Jet. They say it's silent. It is not silent. I don't know why. I don't know why they say that. It is in fact not silent. So that's a little false advertising on Iwata's part, but yeah, you know, whatever. So we're going to use white blue, which is the same color. I'm not using these gloves. We're using white blue, which is here somewhere, I promise. There it is. So, white blue, same one we used yesterday. This is a Vince Ventrilla collection. It's very, very good for white. Very, very good for white. Very, very good for off-whites. It's just a great color in general. It's great for like base coat type stuff. Highly recommend it. Now, this is like 10 things of water. I'm just gonna liberally put some paint in here because I know I'm gonna need more. More is gonna be more important on this one, just because I know I'm gonna be painting 10 models. So when it goes in there, it's gonna be like a little pool there. You use something for like a mixing rod. I use a silicone paintbrush that Game Gears, I think, made a couple years ago at like a Gen Con. I don't know if they're still making them, but it's a great way to use like something to mix it, but you don't have to like ruin it like a brush by getting stuff in the furrow.
Couple years. So you've had those brushes the entire time I've known you, so more than a couple years.
I have no idea what you just said, so.
You said you've had those brushes a couple years, but you've had those brushes the whole time I've known you, so more than a couple years.
Yeah.
So should I be starting with this white blue too?
Yep. So don't use a whole lot. So it might get a little weird noise. Anyway, so like the paint consistency is something that everybody always like talks about with airbrushes. They say milky is what you're looking for. I don't know what that means. I don't drink milk. Milk is for yellow bellies. But generally speaking, you want to see it like slosh. But you don't want it to be watery. Alright, so listen to the silence of the ninja. Alright, slip it on in there in the bucket.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan. I said hi to you already, but hi.
I just sat down.
She knew you were here. Okay, so always a good idea to press the nozzle. Make sure you're not spraying something. Make sure the needle is completely through the airbrush. So you want to be able to push it without spraying anything out. Every once in a while, when you have issues with like clogging and stuff like that, it'll get kind of funky. And that's when you know you got a clog. This thing has no resistance. So that's when you know there's paint in there that's holding the needle still. Hi, Tizzy. So you want to get that off. There you go. Now you got resistance. That's how you know you're good. Then you push it down. And if you just push down without pulling back and there's only air, that means you're good. Then you pull it back and you just start painting. So as you can see, there's like a little bit of condensation building up there. So that means that the paint is probably a little too watery. Do you see that? Like those little bumps? So that means that there's too much water in the paint. So not a huge deal, especially when you're doing something like, you know, simple like this. Thankfully, the base coat underneath it is already kind of a white, so it's not a huge deal. If you ever want to fix it, you just take more paint. You just put it in there. I usually don't recommend you put paint directly into the bucket, but, you know, why would I ever follow my own advice?
So, like, this paint is looking kind of watery, and it's not really sticky. It's kind of like dripping off.
So that's just because you may not have may not have shook it enough. If that's happening, it is usually because the pigment in it isn't doing its job. So either give it a little more pigment. It's right there. What was I trying to say?
Shake it because
That might be another reason why I'm getting spots, but that's fine. We'll make it work. So what is everybody painting today? Kara's still painting her little moon man for Lunar. It's a neat little game by Black Site Studios.
But I've switched to the white technique.
Yeah, she's been doing this like pink and turquoise thing, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it doesn't mean that you can't let it happen.
That's got a real nice paint smell to it.
And thankfully, since this model, all these models are mostly the same color, we're going to be able to get a lot of work done with the airbrush. Tizzy, you're the one that responds the most. Is the sound levels okay? Is the music too loud? And this is also the reason I have construction paper, is just because of overspray. So this is just a black piece of construction paper that you can get at, like, again, like a CVS or whatever, Walmart. And we're just painting away. Now the cool thing about having a model like this is that when the white is fully done, it's really not going to look like a whole lot. But once you start adding in the little details, you're going to be able to like immediately see the changes on it, just because of the fact that so much of it is a single color. So in a weird way, it's kind of like a good and a bad thing. But a lot of these guys are going to be covered up in snow and stuff too, so they're going to, I mean, it's going to look realistic. In this case, it's not, you don't have the advantage of like Space Marines where you could have a guy in bright red armor running around in the woods. Because in real life, you're trying to not get shot.
Really?
Yes. Blending into your surroundings is usually a good idea in a live combat situation.
Crazy tactical thinking there, Dr.Deee.
So there you go. All 10 painted up. Still got paint in the bucket, so what I'll do is listen to the dogs kill each other, and then I will just do a second pass on anything that doesn't look quite right. But like I had assumed, the undercoat of the gray, the light, super light gray, very, very much a boon in the case of making sure these guys are covered. They're stressed out. 2 days of us painting in a row. Hello, Chunk. Lindsay, you painting? This is still well, geez, Rylan. No, I was asked to take over the Monday Hobby stream, at least for now. But who knows? Taylor may come back. You never know. You never know with that rascally guy.
Boys. Hey.
Now you can be excited that I'm here. Yeah, growl at each other. It's great. Because they are fighting over the bed and who gets to sleep in the bed.
I even brought the other one down from my office today. Nobody's even in the bed. Lay down.
Whoop. Raw? What, are you talking about wrestling? I used to watch wrestling. It's been a hot. It's been a minute. Been a hot minute.
But you know, when we were out playing pool a couple weeks ago,
Mhm.
it was on the TV there, and CM Punk on the screen, and I was like, man, I always had a thing for him. Such a good heel.
I have a big crush on Triple H.
Yeah.
You wrestling, Rylan? You wrestler? Girl? Okay, so what I always try to do is when I'm done with a color, I like to just kind of spray some water in there and get it out. Something else I always recommend is some kind of airbrush cleaner. So this is Medea. This one will not eat the finish on your brush. It's essentially just like kind of like just soapy water. I usually leave that towards the end. He has a big crush on Mammy. Mammy? Is that how you say that? Listen, when I was watching wrestling, it was still the guy with the sock puppet. Man Thing or whatever his name was.
I don't know. I might have missed that.
No, he was real big for a while.
I have no doubt, but you've got to remember, like...
I don't have to remember nothing.
only was, like,
You're not my dad.
wrestling for, like...
You can't tell him what to do. You can't tell him what to do.
It was, like, a very, very minor part of my life. I brought you gloves.
I don't want gloves. I told you I didn't want them. Okay, so now we're gonna go Mankind. Yeah, that was his name. Dude Love, Cactus Jack. Yeah, Cactus Jack. Mike Foley. So, like, back in the day, I used to go to Boys and Girls Club, which I think those still exist. It was like I think it was like Christian, like, daycare center, I guess. I don't know how else to, like, describe it, but I used to go there.
It's more like a community.
Yeah, a community center, I guess, whatever you call it. Anyway, but there used to be a video game area over there where you could only spend like a certain amount of time. And there was a wrestling game in the queue. And so we used to play that all the time. And it was like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind was in there. The Big Show. The Big Show was in the game. Ironically enough, the Big Show's chiropractor was one of my teachers down there in Florida. Big dude. Apparently he was like 450 pounds. Alright, so now we are making the shade. So this is the exact same thing I used yesterday. So this is dark Prussian blue. Sacre bleu. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that this isn't too strong. It's kind of hard to see that. But as you can see, I've put in more water on this just because I don't want it to be incredibly strong. So the ratio of this is definitely more on the water side. Now, this is a good and a bad thing because what it's going to do is it's really going to like tone down the coverage, which is good for what we want to do. But the increased water is going to make it so that you have to be really careful with the trigger, and it could also mean that it's not thick enough for the needle to actually stop it from going through. So you want to make sure that the needle is fully up against the nozzle. Hello, Bubby. I sure don't. I sure do not, Keebler. I do not want the terrain. For a variety of reasons. So just make sure that nothing's coming out. If you have it this watery, there's a very good chance that when you push down on the air part, it's just going to push it right out of the nozzle. And then this is like me just pulling it oh so slightly, and for like a millisecond, it's like boom. And as you can see there, it spider webs out really fast. Like real fast. See? So that was 1 and 2 pulls. On the second pull, whole thing fell apart. So 1 pull, and it's mostly water. So in that situation, what you want to make sure you do is when you are pushing down on the air, you do not want full power. You just want to just kind of gently put it in there and just give it little squirts. And the more opaque you want it, the longer, the more you're going to want to do it in layers. You're not going to want to do you're not going to want to do it one big blast. I actually just had to buy a new needle and nozzle for my aquatic clips. Air was pushing through, but it wasn't allowing me to. Yeah, cracked nozzles usually. It's just because it's an air pressure thing. So if you ever have something where it's blowing but it's not going out, generally speaking, cracked nozzle is pretty common, and also the O-ring right here. Because I have a Infinity Steinbeck where the O-ring is bad, and I just haven't replaced it because I'm lazy. No, I'll admit it. Alright, so again, you look at the model. Pretty neon white as always. And so when you are painting this, you want to always try to remember the light source. So again, we're going up and to the right, just like always. And then we're going to do the opposite with this blue, because it's the shade. And if you make some mistakes, it's fine. It's not a huge deal. Just because we can always go back and fix it up. And we're just going to give it little sprays in the areas that are going to not be getting as much light. Now, your shading will not have as much definition if you do it this way as opposed to doing it with like a brush. But which is why a lot of times when you look at models, you'll be like, oh, that's clearly airbrushed, is because it lacks that sort of like brush definition. The art store in Syracuse sells a lot of parts, but they don't stock O-ring. That's another thing that needs changing. It's still the OG ring with it. Yeah, 7-year-old bright. Yeah, see. So it's like eventually that O-ring is going to go bad, especially if you're cleaning it like you should be. Now, if you are putting your airbrush through a ultrasonic cleaner and it stops working, oh, you see, that was way too much. But that's okay, because we're going to go back and do a little cleanup, so it's fine. I just got to talking and just so distracted. Anyway, but I completely forgot what I was saying.
O-ring.
Yeah, the O-ring. If you put in the ultrasonic cleaner, that will be what breaks. Is the rings, because they'll get vibrated to death.
Now we know that from personal experience.
Yeah, because that's what happened. That's exactly what happened to the Steinbeck. Yeah, and all this stuff works. Keebler, it's a case of what somebody just kind of wants to do. I think there's a lot of different ways to do it now. Like before you came in, I was talking about like brush cleaner. That stuff is really, really good at eating acrylic paint. So it's really good, but it will eat the finish on the airbrush, which will.
The airbrush or the
For an airbrush, if you use the paintbrush cleaner on an airbrush, which isn't what it's designed for, but it's very good at eating acrylic paint.
I see. So you do it because your paint is stuff.
Yes. And the cool thing is, if you do this and you get a little like too much, like that blue is really intense for what we're trying to do. The cool thing is, if you come back in with white blue and you put it on top of it, as long as it's on the more transparent side, you'll actually get a gradient, which is why I'm not exactly all that worried about having too much going on. Because I know how to fix it. Yeah, how'd the last paint store event go, Keebler? I'm assuming you went to that one? Fury Shield didn't go so well. If Iron Man doesn't click, then it's back to X-Men. I mean, Iron Man seems like he's okay. I feel like most people still use still use Fury, just because he's obviously really good. But Eye in the Sky is not like locked to Fury, I think, right? Does it come back if it's Fury still there, or if you're playing Shield affiliated?
Yeah, because I thought Eye in the Sky worked for Scarlet Widow, Black Widow, and Hawkeye too.
It does. You can use it on anybody, but there's a condition for it to come back. No, it is just Shield, so you don't specifically need Fury. And that card is obviously one of the reasons you play Shield in general.
Although when they did all those Shield updates, it was hard to make a decision on my favorite cards.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for me, because I got really excited about like the Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Which, unfortunately, the 3-threat Black Widow still is pretty maligned. Which I think she's okay, but the new 4-threat is crazy good.
I haven't played the 4-threat, but man, I always loved my 2-threat. She was just, or was it 3?
It's both. So there was a 2-threat in the core box.
That 2-threat, man, that core box one, I love that model. I felt like it did so much for that 2 cost.
Yep. It's very good. People still use it.
It's not a bad sculpt. I mean, she's doing her poster thing.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of the thing, right? Because the 3-threat has Interrogate, and you're like, this seems like it'd be really good. But now, you don't even need it, because you could just bring Spider-Woman, because she's also Shield.
What does Interrogate do for you?
So, at the end of the round, you can spend power to get victory points if you're within range 2, I think, of a dazed character.
Yeah, it sounds good. But then, like, are you ever gonna use it?
Well, if you brought her, I mean, you think you would. But again, it's like you can.
It doesn't always work out the way you've been planning.
No, that's definitely true. Like I feel like you. Like what am I trying to articulate? Yeah, like Spider-Woman, I feel like just does it better. Because Spider-Woman does other things, and the Agent Widow, she I don't know. She's like just not as comprehensive as a character, in my opinion. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like Spider-Woman is like just really just good.
Thanks for joining us here while we paint white and talk about MCP.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's my base code, I think.
So Kara's doing the same thing we are, just with a brush, just to prove that it is possible.
I don't like the paint, the airbrush, because I'm not very good at that 1 pull, 2 pull issue. And then I just get clumps everywhere.
So she's got a similar situation, but she's doing it with a brush. So if you are worried that this is an airbrush technique, it is not. I'm only doing airbrush because I'm painting 10 models at once. This looks good, in my opinion. Coat looks solid, and just wait for it to dry and then start attacking it with that dark blue.
I like the way your screen looks, so I'm gonna do the brown on
So you're gonna go yellow.
Yeah, I like those yellow, and I worked on it with the other stuff, so I think I'm gonna keep doing that.
One downside of metal models is the giant. It's not a burr. What would you call it? Flash. Down, down. Flash. Masters of the Universe. Alright guys, everybody get out of here. PCN streaming, make sure you go check it out. Chucked in Miles on top of Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, that's just why you play Web Warriors though, you know? It's like they're just great at extracts. And swinging around, yeah. They're not good at fighting. Well, they might be a little better now that Scarlet Widow, not Scarlet Widow, Scarlet Spider is out. He's a bit of a brawler. Gwenum's definitely a fighter. Yeah, I saw it. Thank you. And when you have a surface area that's as big as these guys, when it comes to like just having a single color, honestly, having some variation in there is probably just a good idea. Because it'll make it more interesting. So you're looking at it and you're like, this guy's crazy. He's gone and done. He's crazy. He's goofed up now. We're gonna put him in the loony bin, but no, don't worry. It's all gonna make sense. It's all gonna come together. You painting, Keebler, or you just chilling? I almost decided to go to ACO. But I think I've talked myself out of it. There you go. That's all 10. So again, kind of reiterate here. White. Make sure you know what light, the direction of the light, which is going to be coming from over here. And you're going to try and hit all the little nooks and crannies, so like inner arms, the legs of the opposite side. Anywhere where the sun ain't going to shine. Sweet. So, I have a lot of extra blue. That's fine. I'm going to put it back into the same bucket, just in case I need it for later. Probably won't, but it's always good to have a backup. Spray out the rest of the junk. Now, if you have a blue in there that's that strong, what will happen if I were to put white in there directly is it would really tint it. So when you go up to the highlight, or in this case even like the mid-tone, probably not as big a deal just because it's going to be mixed a little bit on the model itself anyway. But if you're going to go straight to the highlight, you want to make sure that there is no blue still in the actual brush. Otherwise, you're going to get it to, it's going to mix, because you got to remember that there's always paint in the nozzle. Let me get over here. Get the old brushes. Well, I might have more free time now, Tizzy, because with this new job coming up, I'm not going to be working Mondays. And I get out early on Friday. That's like a 27-day weekend. I mean, I ain't no scientist, but that sounds pretty wad. I can't hear you over the silent ninja.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
It's too quiet.
I'll tell you later.
It's absorbing too much noise. I can't hear anything around me because of how unnoisy it is. All right, so we're going back to the white blue. Give it a little stir. The resin mines? What? Why is it a mine? A mine! It's the city of Khazad-dûm, and they call it a mine. A mine.
I'm already happier with this.
Like a normal space outfit?
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy talk. And make sure you get a good, nice, even flow. Because you're not Pearl Jam. And this one, you might even want to keep the model at a distance of like an inch or two, and just spray where the light can touch. Because if you do that, it will keep those dark spots a little more honest. And as you can see, it's like if you start spraying. There was one over here that was like definitely like really heavy. So like this one right here, like that was like that's a pretty big, that's a lot of damage. That's a big blue spray. So what you could do is you could hold it at that angle and just spray. So this is where the sun is, right? So this is where the sun is. This is the upper right hand. And you just spray. Maybe you could twist it a little bit just because the sun is pretty high up. And you spray. And what you'll notice is that as long as you're not spraying too heavy, your white blue will start to mix, kind of like wet blending in a kind of really not wet blending way. And what it will do is it will kind of get rid of the harshness of a lot of the blue if you feel like it's too heavy. So there we go. So now when you look at it, it's still nice and dark up in that area. Now that gun is going to get painted black, so Shut up about the sun. The big yellow one is the sun. And so, every time I'm in the middle of an explanation, Tizzy gets me. He gets me in a tizzy. So, it sure does. And so, you could go in there and you can really help break the control of that super heavy color by just giving it a little spray. So now, like, you're playing against the person, right, and you're like this far away from the model. You see that real dark spot underneath his hands and all that because that's where you would expect it to be really dark. But now, it all kind of blends together. So it's really cool. It's a pretty easy way to just do some, like, if you want to call it wet blending, I guess. It's definitely not wet blending, so if you're a wet blending purist, please don't hit me. Do you let me? You can come hang out in the resin mines where we paint terrain. Should have both sun. Yeah. So I know I wouldn't mind helping with Adepticon, the spray team. I think it's just more of an issue of time. But again, if I have this new job, I might have a little more time to give. But I heard Adepticon's dead, Tizzy. It's not in Schlongberg anymore. Can you say anything about that? Oh yeah, the news today. Oh man, what a that was interesting. So today, it was announced that War Machine was being sold to Steamforge Games.
Why is that a problem?
So Steamforge Games are the ones that made Guild Ball back in the day, and they were like, they got mad at the players for wanting to play their game competitively when they made a competitive game.
Got mad at their players?
They did. So they came out and said,
Bought their product?
yeah, it was a whole thing. So everybody's been pretty mad at them for over the years. But War Machine was a really big game there for a while during Warhammer's like 40k 7th edition, and they were kind of in a weird poised position to potentially become maybe the biggest game on the market if GW kept kind of fluffing around, which they did course correct when they did like 8th edition and all that. I'm assuming that's the news you were talking about, Tizzy. What do I think about it? I don't really care, in all honesty. I'm not gonna play those games, so I'm not going back to War Machine. It's cool. I hope people play it again. I really enjoyed my time with War Machine. I have Denegra on my arm as a tattoo. Because I was a Dirty Cricks player.
Yeah? You wanna go get a tattoo?
You want a tattoo of Denegra there, Chunk? What's wrong with talking about the sun, Tizzy?
Thor.
See? Thor is about it. You gotta know where your light source is, Tizzy. You can't paint a model without a light source. That's how you get them sweet, sweet contrasts. Just because you don't believe in the sun doesn't mean we can't.
Yes, sir.
He was talking about if that was the news that he was asking about.
I thought he was just getting in line after you told him off.
I would never put Tizzy in line. Tizzy is a line. Because what if I have to play? No! That's not what contrast paint is for. Contrast paint is for entry-level painters to have an easy way to get their models from the box to the table. Are you going to show me something? No, I don't love them. Far from it. I like light sources. I prefer my traditional painting, thank you. I will admit, though, that contrasts do have certain advantages when it comes to like things you can do with them. Ironically enough, they actually go through an airbrush pretty okay. If you're looking to tint. They're good at tinting. But I was trying to paint an Age of Sigmar army with only contrast paint, and I didn't like it. Just put it that way. They're for beginners, which is why Tiz loves them. Which paints do you like better, contrast or washes? That's a loaded question. I guess washes. I guess. I didn't know I was gonna get like asked one of the hardest questions of my entire life tonight. Tizzy, please. I do crave the light, Diablo. It's my buddy, my Malifaux buddy. Listen, this guy. We were at the shop, right? Let me give the story. I'll give out the entire story, and this is definitely a factual representation of what happened. So I walked in with my models. And they were all in a bag, and so I said, "Hey, buddy." Well, they were all in a box because I was trying to find all my old Malifaux stuff, and he just knocks the box right out of my hand. Here we go. And he just knocks it on the ground. And I was wearing my my overalls. They were like an orange color, and my green and my blue shirt, and I had my little propeller hat on. And I said, "Gee, Wilkins, Mister, I'm here to play Malifaux," and he inks is the correct answer, by the way. Maleficent, you're correct. But I was there to play, and so he said, "Do you want to play Riva or do you want to play Misaki?" And I said, "I'm thinking about it." He's like, "It doesn't matter, nerd. I'm going to play Riva. Here we go." And so then he lit me on fire. I didn't light him on fire. I played a normal master who was only there to protect the innocent, and he brought a cultist worshipping psychopath. So that's what happened. And if he tells you otherwise, he's a liar. What do you got to say about that, Mr. Diablo? So far, the shit, yeah, it does. It was an actual one-for-one recreation of what happened. I had puppets ready, but I didn't have them readily available. Did you say there are no good guys in Malifaux? That's not true. The guild are good guys. They go in there, and then a bunch of people are like, "We're breaking the law because we're a bunch of jerks," and then they shoot them, and then everything's solved with violence. They have mages. That's knowledge. And listen, a great man once said to me, I think it was Colonel Sanders once said, "Knowledge is half the battle, and the other half is unremitting violence."
I learned so much painting with you.
It's important because you know, if you're the law and the other side is no longer able to breathe through their mouth, they can't spread their lies. And if that makes me wrong, I don't want to be right. So there you go. You see how the viewer count just skyrocketed? Now we're up to 40. Don't know what happened.
Negative.
I guess 8 o'clock is when everybody checks out of their news.
That weapon I got in the way of his face, where do you think the light source should come from?
Honestly, I don't really think it matters. So what you could do if you wanted to be real fancy here. So you see, so she's gonna build, or she's gonna paint a yellow visor. And what that means is when you're thinking about where that light's going to hit, she's asking, hey, is this gun going to get in the way? I mean, if you really want to get into it, you could like maybe tilt it a little bit to where it hits like middle of the visor, and you could even like add in the shadow of the grip of the weapon. So what you could do is put the white there, or put the yellow here.
You know, I forgot. I had an idea for the visors. I was thinking about doing the visors black and trying to make it look like there's stars reflecting in them.
I mean, you could do that.
And now I've got this brown white.
Well, you just paint it black. That's not hard.
I forgot about that. I was thinking about that earlier, and I was like, that's a really good idea. I should do that.
Well, I was thinking about you earlier. Aww. I think about Wilmar a lot. There are no good. There is no. Why would you need due process when the person that is arguing with you is like a demon? What are they gonna do? Go to demon jail? No.
Who are you arguing with?
Tizzy. I'm saying in Malifaux. If you're the law, and you're like, hey, give us all the soul stones, and you guys can live your little lives or whatever. We don't really care. And if they're like, well, we're gonna be gallivanting by raising the undead, being a bunch of yellow bellies, and not paying our taxes, the guild has to go in there and be like, listen, you had your chance. Now you're dead. And then they shoot you.
Can you give me a black?
No. Is that okay? Anyway, now I've been yapping. So, no demon jail, kids. We have demon jail. We have demon jail at home. There's no need for demon court. You just kill them. They're just demons. They're gross. They believe in equality. Ugh.
Is that how you feel about everybody on Has-Been Hotel?
Oh, they're dead. Well, they're in hell. They're other demons. It's just like demons talking to other demons. That's a whole different process. Anyway, so now we're choosing pure white. I'm not breaking any ground here. I'm just going to be spraying the high points where the light is, Tizzy. Make sure you pay attention to where the light is, and you just give it a little spritz. Just oh, that's nice. Work it, baby.
Those noises make me uncomfortable.
Whoa! Listen, that soul stone is mine. That you need to pay me that soul stone. That bill is real. That bill is very real. That bill is real. Well, if you're so cool and undead, why don't you just undead yourself up a girlfriend, Wilmar?
Why are you picking on Wilmar's relationship status?
That's a reference to something. He'll get it. No demon jail, kids. We have demon jail. By the way, Tizzy and Hank's wife, Tizzy and Tizzy's wife. I don't know if you want me to say your name, Tizzy's wife. You guys need to come on to the stream, and then the stream. And then you and Kara can talk about lady stuff, like what's a good lady thing? Perming your perming your hair, perming your nails.
The only person still perming her hair right now, babe, is your mom. But she is stuck in 1985.
And my mama is a great woman.
I didn't say she wasn't. I just said she's stuck in 1985.
1985.
And I think she'd agree with me. She'd be proud of it.
Is she trying to get on the White Snake music video?
Probably. You want to call and ask her?
Stealing men's souls and claiming they claim their land.
Yeah.
They violated our land and what do they say? They raped our land and violated our women. Kara will be trying Malifaux with me here soon.
As soon as we find all our
I gotta find the printing press for Nelly. I don't know where the model went. I suspect Wilmar took it, but creating and gatekeeping a lesbian utopia. Is that what girls talk about?
I've told you about Topanga, right?
Yeah. Endlessly.
So, Mrs. Tizzy, are you a fan of Boy Meets World? Because in the first season, Topanga says that we should put all men underground and only bring them up for breeding. So, that's a lady topic. Yeah. Put the men underground. Our men, we can let them paint.
It's true. You leave us down there long enough, we just kind of get to it, you know? You don't even really need to worry about us. Right, categorically speaking, you're correct. So, going at it with the white. Again, you don't really want to judge it based purely off of just like what it looks like before everything else is painted. But on a couple of them, I think I want to go back in and add and just spice it up a little with a little shading with the blue again, just to add a little bit more of that contrast. Just give it the old razzle dazzle, you know what I'm saying? Not meant to be that pale, though. You didn't answer my question, though. Or you didn't... You did not make a comment about what I said, Wilmar, about the you should just magic yourself up a girlfriend thing. Well, if you're so cool and undead, why don't you just magic yourself up a girlfriend? I'm not gonna lie, this music slaps. You told me? What did you tell me?
I told you when I was watching Tim's stream one day. I was like, get that emo shit.
This is definitely not emo. She did ask you, can you can we have also an island tribe?
Yes, of course.
Is that like a Survivor reference? I've watched Survivor.
I was thinking it was
Am I cool?
Mona reference, but whatever reference, we can do this.
Mona, I barely knew her. You know what I'm saying, guys? Yeah, she's across the thing. We're probably gonna get her a mic. She said, what did you ask her? I'll repeat what she said. She asked she asked me if you watched, or not me specifically. Yeah, do you watch Boy Meets World?
Know about Topanga putting men under the...
And in the first season of the show, Topanga makes a reference. Yeah, I know. I didn't think she was actually going to consistently show up. She was like, I'll help you on the stream. And I was like, sure. Sure, Beb. Whatever you say, Beb. Well, all right, Beb. If you say so, Beb. Sure. And then she actually shown up every single time. So I got egg on my face.
And I'm doing the technique he's teaching everybody.
What do you want from me? I'm just a man. A dumb man. Anyway, Tizzy's wife, she was asking if you've watched Boy Meets World. Yes, the boy, yes, from the show from the 90s. The one and the same. They made a...
Girl Meets World.
Yeah, they made Girl Meets World, which is a soft reboot, yeah.
It was super cute.
Which she liked.
Dylan watched it with me, and he liked it okay. He knows all about Topanga and Corey.
I did watch some Boy Meets World. It was nice to just watch something simple.
It is, yeah. It was an easy show.
She says that she's not here for a good time. I'm sorry, she's here for a good time, not here for a long time.
Woohoo! Me too, girlfriend.
You know what? When we do the Adepticon spray team, you guys are going to have to give each other the old razzle-dazzle. If that's legal. I don't know if that's legal in Indiana. By the way, I don't mean to call you Tizzy's wife, but it's just a funny King of the Hill reference to me. She said when it came out, yes, but sporadically. I mean, she doesn't have to go to spray tan. I know, that's what I'm saying. While we're all doing, you know, manly business and like oiling each other's pecs and drinking Mike's Hard Lemonades, they can give each other the old razzle dazzle. Which I don't know what that means. I'm hoping you knew what it meant, Tizzy. It's only been recent that my parents have let me stay in a the same room as a woman without being chaperoned. She doesn't want to go to spray team. They can't afford her. Well, you know what, Tizzy? I don't know what. I'm just the idea guy. This is why I'm not going to ACO. They don't need me there. They just want my ideas. Guys, don't mind me. I'm bopping to this music. My parents were alligators and mosquitoes. What do you think of that, Tizzy? They're both from Connecticut, my parents. I quickly outgrew them. So they, they woke up one day and I just wasn't in my crib. I had already snuck out into the wilderness to find larger prey. I had already proved that I was the apex predator. It's a crafting thing for real crafters, both the razzle and the dazzle. Well, if you guys ever come to Massachusetts, make sure you stop and stay. Stop and tell. Well, first of all, tell us. One day I would like to meet Tiz's wife. Hank's wife. What do they do with their smoking jackets and sailboats when they move to Florida? My smoking jackets. I'm not entirely sure if my dad owns a smoking jacket. He had a lot of NASCAR jackets and he had a lot of biker jackets. My mom was probably more for money, but I think she was troubled. She was a troubled youth. Let's put it that way. I'm an enigma wrapped in a hermit, wrapped in a hater. No, she didn't. She still has it.
She wasted your inheritance.
Oh, yeah, maybe. That's okay. I want to live a life where I don't need inheritance.
Yes. I was pointing out the truth.
Smoking, I think alligators, I think their skin itself is the smoking jacket. Okay, there you go. That's it. We did it. We did the white. Hooray! And it only took us an hour for 10 models. I don't know where this voice came from. Send help.
Now what are you doing?
So now we got to clean the brush. So most important part is what you set up, you must also destroy. All right. So you find your paint cleaner. Well, I mean, Tizzy, it's a lizard, right? Alligators are lizards, so they can just take it off. They just, I don't know, molt it off or whatever. That's what reptiles do. Reptile. Over the hedge reference. Well, you know, maybe they wear other alligators' skin? This is a difficult question. I don't know how to answer this. My Florida public school education is not able to answer these kinds of questions, okay? All they did is they took us outside and they said that we were going for a trip. Well, you see, we're in a field, and you was going on a trip. Wow! Squidbillies reference. Oh, it's so loud now. When I fought my first alligator, the first time I touched an alligator, it was 4th grade.
Never touched an alligator.
That's because you're...
Okay, that's not true. I've eaten alligator.
Okay, so yeah, actually, if anyone's had an opportunity to eat alligator, it's actually pretty good. What age? So what? How old are you in 4th grade? Probably like 9-ish, give or take, like 9, 10. It was in a fist fight or a knife fight. Well, yeah, his little mouth was taped shut. Cause in 4th grade, they had this alligator Dundee guy come and with a live alligator, and you could pet it, I guess. And for me, naturally, I had the look of someone who was troubled, right? So he threw the alligator at me and gave him a pocket knife, you know, like the switchblade ones, where they the butterfly knives. And he pulled that sucker out, and he started swiping. He started swinging at me. I didn't appreciate it, so I took him down. I gave him the suplex. Which is like basic Florida education.
Yeah, because basically he is just wrestling.
Yeah.
And not like the sport, the entertainment.
That's why we were talking about Raw earlier.
I'm carrying the thread of the conversation here, darling.
Oh, no one can hear you, so ha. I am the conversation.
That's fair. You're the star. I'll settle for wind beneath your wings.
Let's just say, I'm sure Tim's streams get many more views than this one. Let's just put it that way. I know my place, and that place is not going to ACO. That's his problem. No. Yeah, just sitting at home painting, drinking.
Well, you probably can't stream because Tim will be streaming.
Yeah, I'm just sitting around drinking Mike's Hard Lemonades, playing Street Fighter with Tizzy. Smirnoff Ice. Schmear. Didn't we say we were gonna play tomorrow, Tizzy? I should be home tomorrow. We were. Oh, actually, so I bought a code for Street Fighter that won't let me play online for some reason. So I might just buy the game again, just so we can actually play. Because actually, I was playing it yesterday. I was really enjoying it. I'm bad. I don't think I was quite button mashing, but I definitely was having trouble remembering what buttons did what. I was going up against Zangief, and he just kept grabbing. I was like, I can't remember how to cancel the grab. But modern controls, very helpful. Because as soon as they were like, oh yeah, you got to do this like 6-button combo in order to do this attack, I was like, no. Disc my PlayStation doesn't take discs. Well, Tim's going to stream ACO, was what I was referencing. He doesn't stream anymore. He probably won't be here tomorrow. Maybe I'll just stream myself at work. And we can talk about, I don't know, what do normal people talk about? Butts. We could talk about butts.
Weather.
But weather's not consistent.
That's why you talk about it.
So I can say, like, hey, it's sunny here.
Yeah,
And then,
what's happening at your house, Dizzy?
hey, Tizzy, how's the weather at your house? Or we do the asthma gold thing where we
got, like,
just
40
watch.
Viewers. Like, plenty of people could be telling us how the weather is.
Be an agent of chaos. I don't think he'd be happy if I did that. Be an agent of chaos. He says the weather there is beautiful. Beautiful. Actually, weather here's been really good. It's gonna rain, but that's fine.
Thursday.
All the beautiful little flowers, they need water. Twoof. That's true. Every single time we give water to the dogs, we're trying to water the plants. They just get a little bit of a second-hand water. Alright, so what do we do next? Let me look at the reference material. So the models are mostly going to be khakis, white. The gun and stuff is obviously brown and black and all that stuff. So going with my usual rules, which is you always want to start from the inside out. It might be the best idea to paint skin. It does rain a lot here. That's true. It hasn't been so bad lately. It kind of drizzles. Yeah. Okay, so now something I was talking about before when it comes to painting skin. Now these are supposed to be like veterans, so we're going to paint them a little more like scarred. So now when you put the base coat on there, I was talking about using Shadow Flesh. This is a Pro Acrylic color. Excuse me. The Shadow Flesh is something I would use for like more normal people. If I'm starting to paint somebody who's like older, or in this case more grizzled, I would start with a base coat that's a little bit darker. So I'm going to use Shadowed Flesh, which is a Panzer Aces color. It can be. There is a specific museum for the Boston Tea Party where you do get to throw a box into the hob. Yeah, British people are scared of coming to Boston, that's for sure.
They should be. It's a very rebellious town. That's why everything closes at 10 p.m.
You know, they're just sitting over there in England. They're, you know, the son talking to their dad, like, Papa, I do not wish to go to Boston. I do not want to be thrown into the jaws. Papa, please, I do not want to go.
That source material picture looks like a much warmer white than what you're painting, Dr.Deee.
Yeah, well. If Warlord's so smart, why don't they make a national company and sell great historical models?
Criticism, it was a conversation starter.
I don't want to paint my white that way. My white's just so much more, like, rich.
If the British person is in the box, is it still alive? Is the box open? Do we know if the British person is alive? Should we open the box and find out?
Well, I mean, you figure if they're in that box, they probably think it's safe. That might be how they get here, I'll be honest. Like,
Well, they're probably vampires that have become in a coffin.
vampire. Yeah, all British people. This white's very rich. So as you can see, this white can definitely afford just fantastic stock options. I think probably already filled its Roth IRA. Unlike some people I know who play Riva. Probably the most powerful master in the entire game. Schrodinger's red coat. Oh, Tizzy, you're silly. Tizzy, does your mom have diabetes? Because she must have used a lot of sugar to make you.
Dylan, you don't flirt with me that good.
Well, hey, Kara is the. Well, Kara just said that I don't flirt with her as well as I do with Tizzy. You already told me that Tizzy's my type.
You didn't seem to disagree.
Well, it's. I am a firm believer in the bromance. Paint and skin. We're just a paint and skin. Just a paint, just a paint and skin. We're just a paint and skin. Just a paint and skin. Just singing the paint and singing song. Just a paint and skin. All right, so guys, what do we paint next week? I think I've beaten white to death, especially since it's really hard to see.
Have you done yellow?
Well, I've definitely painted yellow on stream first. I think that's what I did on the very first one. So when I come to Everwinter, do I get to stay at your place and stay up late talking about the revolution? Which revolution? Are we talking about the revolutionary one or the communist uprising that we were talking about starting? Or are we talking about taking down Tam? Because that is
some great YouTube channels for the American Revolution.
well. Kara's saying that she can start the foreplay by showing us some YouTube videos of Revolutionary War stuff. Although by the time Everwinter's here, you're probably not going to want to be outside. It's going to be chill. Well, you're from the Chicagoland area. You know what cold is.
Ricky and I went at Christmas. It was fine.
Global warming.
Yeah.
Global warming is a myth. Instead of guild halls, you guys only have a Duncan. Only have a Duncan. There's a lot of Duncans. All three, what, of the YouTube videos? I'm sure we could find more than 3 YouTube videos about the Revolutionary War. I mean, I'll always remember the speeches from it, you know, where Colonel Sanders was like, "My fellow Americans, There comes a time in every man's life where he must ask his country, not what it can do for you, but what can you do for your country.
Go to the moon.
Now we're going to the moon. Oh, the revolutions. Oh, that's true. That's true, I guess. that's a good question. I was being awfully limited in my view there. That's true. We could do all three. I think we have enough time. We could probably get at least 1 or 2 of those done in the commute to Everwinter. I mean, it's a good, like, 20 minutes away. All my friends are gonna be there. Tizzy's gonna be there. Tam should be there. Wilmar will be there. Kara will probably not be there.
Where?
Everwinter.
Show up to Everwinter and say hi. I won't play.
She says that she'll show up. She just doesn't want to play. Is it because of Wilmar?
I mean, if we have like a game night or something and we play zombies or something, I'll show up for that.
We did try to do that last year. So last year we did try to set up a Marvel Zombies thing, but by the time we got the board on the table, they were saying that we had to clean it up. I was like, well, that's butts. We did play it in Tim's hotel room. Like, I think we played 1 game of it, and then we played Hide the Pickle. Is that funny?
It is.
Why is that funny?
I like hide and seek too. I just think it's funny to think about you playing it.
Great. Yeah, that's awesome, Omar. I'll do everything I can to help you if you need any help. I'll give you some back massages.
What?
I'll blow playfully in your ear. Yeah.
All the things I like, you never do.
Well, you don't paint Infinity.
I painted some Cyberpunk stuff.
That's not Infinity. Listen, did you hear what I just said?
I switched my movement to white.
Because you didn't like the color.
Because I was really feeling all of the white.
Sold! Booking the ticket now. You should play Infinity, Tizzy. That way you don't have to go to the streaming table and hang out with Tim. Tell him you're playing a man's game. Playing a man's game. I am a man. And I will say that painting these Russians is a fine example of what it takes to finish an army at the scale of like a bolt action, or I wouldn't venture to say that bolt action is the size of like 40k these days, but it takes a lot to finish an army. Because you figure these 10 dudes are veterans, so at least they're taking up a pretty good chunk of army points, but it's still like only like 1/10 of your army. Make Brian's life miserable. I mean, sure. How would you do it? Would you just like make constant judge calls? like every single measurement. Like, you know, ask them like, hey, is this character within range 3? And like they're within range 2.
And also don't do any of the paperwork.
Yeah, don't do any of the paperwork. Make sure you don't put your list on the paper. just clearly things that are clearly, you know, that you already know the answer to. I think Brian said he was moving or something soon. Don't use the tournament sum. Don't put your score into Longshanks. All you gotta do is put your score in Longshanks. It's very easy. I will say, having run Bushido events that uses Longshanks, I don't think a single person has ever put their score in the thing. Thankfully, every event I've ever ran is like 8 people. But not a single person I think has put their score in on their own.
I'm a smart person, and that is a shitty system, and I can figure out how to put my score in.
I don't want the government. What if it's the guild though? Are they gonna take you to demon court if they get your data? Because you know what happens if you go to demon court.
Did anybody else watch the new Hell of a Boss?
Yeah, well, at Adepticon, if they don't put it in, you probably stick Charles on them. Kara was asking if... Well, we got to finish this conversation first. Kara. All right, Kara's going to bed. This is why we don't get her a camera, a mic. $20 minutes ago.
I'll still be working on White like 5 streams from now.
Kara's going to bed, and she said that you guys are all a bunch of nerds.
I did not.
Yeah, she did say that. I heard it. She muttered it under her breath. Whatever. Like, oh my gosh.
What's that?
Tizzy says bye.
Bye.
I don't have to listen to you.
I will lock you underground. I basically already have you locked underground.
That's actually kind of true. Logical consistency has no place here. You can't hurt me with library science. Okay, so now we're just using the old basic skin tone that we've done already a billion times, and we've just mixed it a good like 50-50 with that shadow flesh. And now we're gonna just start making some depth with that skin color. And it's gonna be so good. I'll play both action at Adepticon, and everybody will be like, wow, Dylan, that army looks so good. But you've lost because you're bad at this game. And I'm like, oh no. Stop it. Don't do it, no. Nerd! You're a nerd. Shut up. Why are you bringing up old stuff? That was like 20 minutes ago. That was a good one. Oh! I always like to keep my eyes on the messages just in case people are sending me funny things. Boop. Any interest in Bushido? Okay. And we're just going to keep on painting. I think next week, if nobody else has something that they'd rather see, it's going to be something Infinity related, probably. Because I will be going to Dogfinity soon, which is an event in Florida. So this weekend was Ironweld, which is a Massachusetts event, held by the same people that do Ironweld. They do, I'm sorry, the people that do Everwinter. They do a middle of the year event called Ironweld, which is not as big as Everwinter for sure, but it's a good time. It's really good. Went there for Margaritaville, which is an amazing name. Are there dogs at Dogfinity? Yes, actually, in a ironic thing, it is a Achilles. I don't have Achilles, and there's a new Ajax coming. I'm not buying the old one. But they did announce that I think next month is Ajax, the new one. Okay, how was it? Ironwell was good. And the answer to the other question really fast. Dogfinity is a tournament that is also a charity for dog shelters, something like that. So everything that they do there is a charity event for dogs. And so they're doing a narrative event, and in the narrative event there are... Jeez. God. Tizzy's wife. Thank you for 11 cents. You're beautiful. You're beautiful. For 4 months, that's crazy. And you know what? You've only known about me for like 2 of them. You know, you come for the low hanging fruit, and you stay for the quality. You know what I'm saying? I'm like a ripe grape. You just gotta step on me. Don't clip that, please. But to answer your question, there might be dogs there. I can't bring my dog, otherwise I would. But all the teams are dog themed. And I am going to be the law dogs because I have a shtick that I need to always keep. How was it? So Ironweld was good. I enjoyed it. The events were a little on the smaller side, at least for Infinity. The MCP event was pretty. It was a pretty good size, I think. I'm a ripe grape. Remember we just talked about this. We just talked about it. Tizzy's wife. Tizzy's wife. Yeah, it was good. It was definitely a good event. I didn't go for both days just because the Infinity event was only a 1 day, and I decided to just do stuff with Kara on Sunday, which was good. And plus, I had that dog. I had that job talk I had to do. So I was career building on the Sunday, so I didn't really get a chance to go. And we went and had brunch with Ernie, who is a favorite. Because if anybody who knows who I am the host of Arachne, an Infinity podcast. We love Ernie. He's a great guy. He was a co-host for one of the episodes. He will be a co-host again here pretty soon. We're thinking about doing an episode where we talk about Downfall, which was the first novel, which I finished reading a couple weeks ago. I was in the middle of doing a blog post about it, so it's coming. But work got super crazy, and I wasn't able to finish it because I still don't have a front desk. But hopefully that'll calm down here relatively soon. So when you're painting the skin, again, you just hit those high points. Bridge of the nose, cheek, top of the cheek. Get the lips if the model will let you. And the chin. Now, as you can see, if you were here yesterday, that the darker, I don't want to say red per se, but the darker maroony color, I guess, gives the skin like extra, like, I don't know what the word would be, maybe like grit. Like, it doesn't look like much on this one. This might be a better example. Where he just kind of looks darker. He definitely looks, I don't know. I just don't know how else to describe it other than kind of grizzled. But it'll make more sense once we get up to the top. Now, the Shadow Flesh is actually a really good color for like scars. So if you were painting something with like a scar on its face, or you wanted to paint like an anime style scar on their like elbow, or not their elbow, but like their shoulder or their chest or whatever, I would use Shadow Flesh for my scars. Do you want to know how I got these scars? Yeah, that's the problem, Tizzy. I don't own Aleph. Aleph is bad. That's actually not true. I own some Aleph. I have a few actually, because some of it, all the Aleph that goes into 012, I own. But I don't own anything else. I actually got rid of it because I had some Steel Phalanx stuff, but I did sell that. Steel Phalanx is cool, though. It's a very cool idea for an army. I just wish that it had more Greek heroes than just the ones from the Trojan War. Like, if it had models like Odysseus and, well, again, not models in the Trojan War, but, like, what's a good example? Like, I guess, like a Hercules. Or, what's the word? Who's another hero? Like Theseus. Theseus and like Asterion and stuff. That'd be super cool. Brian Mage. Hi, buddy. Hi, Charles. Or as Tim likes to call you, Chuck. He doesn't call you Chuck. He hates that I call you Chuck. And I think it's hilarious that it bothers him as much as it does. Magnanimous is a good word, Chuck. Good use of that word. The paint scale. You coming into paint, Chuck, or are you just traveling on through? Oh, actually, I gotta check something. Okay, so, oops, I gotta do this one. Google help me. Is it too many? That's I get that. Magnanimous. There's like that's like 7 letters long. It's crazy. Did you break the internet? I think that's what he's asking. Or did you break Google? Okay, so now we're just using that plain old... Anyway, we're just using straight up skin. Basic skin tone. Yeah. Trying to go to the gym in the morning, and I gotta say, by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I want to look like Charles when I'm older. I want to be a beefcake. Beefcake! And again, if you're doing this alongside me, you just take that skin color and you just keep refining it to where you get the most depth. You're not small. So, I don't think you're fat. I don't think you're fat. Why would you think you're fat? Also, from the gist of it, if we're all in Tizzy's hotel room again at Adepticon, we're going to have to, instead of playing Smash Brothers, we're going to have to play Street Fighter. Well, I mean, technically, if that is how you believe you look, if I keep waking up this early and not sleeping, I might eventually look. I might eventually look short and fat, if that's what you think you look like. We're gonna play Street Fighter instead, Charles, because me and Tizzy are about to light. We're about to light it up. Street Fighter 6. Tizzy's gonna take me to Pwn City. So while we're doing that, I'm gonna Cammy main. You're gonna be giving Tim a tattoo. And Tizzy's gonna be... Oh man, who do you think... I don't know if it's open world, technically. It took forever to download last night, and I was just doing practice matches. I didn't even touch the story mode yet. So, maybe? We're gonna do one instead. Yes, I can find 6, 7. Yeah, I'm terrible at them too. It's I definitely wasn't good. I wasn't good at it. I was enjoying just hitting the buttons. I like to think that I was not button mashing. I was actually consciously trying to do things. But sometimes you gotta be button mashing. I don't know. I don't know if it crosses platform. I bought it for PlayStation. I got it for like $20. So if I need to rebuy it, I might just buy it on PC. I just don't like playing without a controller. So I'm not sure. You think it would be just to kind of keep up population numbers, but I mean, I've seen weirder. Yeah, I need to just get a controller. Like, I have a controller, because we were playing Multiverses there for a little while, me and my buddy Saul. The live or the full release version of that came out. I heard it wasn't great. I heard it had a lot of stuttering problems, but it was fun. I just I just remember trying to like play it without a controller, and I was like, this is insane. There's like no way. The controller helps for sure, but even then, for like a fighter that's definitely modeled off of Smash, I don't know. It felt like I was just traveling at too slow of a speed. Like my brain doesn't work that fast. Because even me and Kara, when we went to Florida a little while ago, we went over to one of her like friends' houses. Because we were sleeping in his house, and he had Smash, and we were playing. And I guess he gets to play a lot. He's a lawyer, so he like plays in his office. And obviously, you know, that means he's got a lot more practice than like me. But which I don't even know if I touched the new Smash. And he crushes me over and over again. I think over the entire course of playing it, over like, we must have played like maybe 10-ish games. I think maybe I knocked him out of the ring once. And I just remember the entire time I was playing, I felt like I was like moving through like molasses. I was like, why am I moving so slow? And somebody was saying that for the new Smash Brothers, if you're using like the other controller, I guess there's like a really high latency. I don't know if that's true or not. I could also paint some Malifaux next week. That'd be fun. It's hard for me to take suggestions. The only thing anyone suggested are a bunch of models I don't have. Yeah, I tend to agree, because I think that was who said it, where that came to my mind, because I remember him saying, while you guys were even playing, he's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to play with whatever. See, he knows the answer to that question, but he doesn't know how to use like a wet palette correctly. Because he's a dingus. He's a dingus! Okay, so... Flesh highlight. Again, we've done this like a billion times already. Actually, I think this is cycling. Has anybody here played Homeworld 3? I heard it was disappointing. There's 40 people here. I mean, surely someone here has played it. Answer the question, Walmart. You're being very rude right now. It's so loud. Is there a way to turn that? Oh my god, I need to turn that down. It blows my eardrums apart every single time. As soon as I see the little gray redeem thing come up, I'm just like, oh god, something's coming, please. Oy, oy, oy. So from what I understand, like Homeworld's like not that bad. From what I understand, it's like 3D, but from what I understand, it's like I keep hearing that they make it approachable. Playing. What Dead War game are you playing now? You go back to BattleTech? You old man. Just so everybody knows, Wilmar's like a 300-year-old man. Monpok. Well, hey, yeah, that's what we were talking about today, where they sold the rights of it to Mantic. Like, say what? Mantic. Privateer Press just can't seem to catch a break. Was Monpok dead though? Technically, I mean they were still releasing stuff for it, weren't they? It died. Wow. Did you pour a 40 out for it? Like right onto your grandma's house's cashmere rug? Well, I'm glad you didn't then. I need you to be alive. So I have somebody in the middle of the day to message about just the random thoughts that I have during the day about some of the games we play. Oh, by the way, yeah, right, I was talking to you about it. Look at this friggin' model. Look at this thing. He's like a fat robot butler with a tiny hat. Look at the hat. That hat's so good. It's so small. It's so tiny. And look at the size of the bags. They're so big. But the hat's so small. Look how tiny the hat is. This model is so cute. It's perfect. It's so fluffy, I want to die. Yeah, Malifaux, Chuck. I guess you weren't here when we were talking about it earlier. It's the miniatures game that uses cards instead of dice. Oh, if you're talking about that model, yes, that model was a Malifaux model. It was the Bellhop Porter, I think is what it's called. It's for Explorer Society. Alright, we keep plugging away at this. So now we just need some white. A very rich white. Yeah, the models are cool. My biggest issue with their models is that sometimes they're a bit of a pain in the butt to paint, just because of like the way the details are distributed through it. Like, it's very artistic, but painting all of this like to a super high standard is gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot of work. There's a lot going on. You figure each of those suitcases has to be painted like a different way. If you're going for like super high level, because you figure like there's the metal, which I might paint more as like a black, because I wouldn't want this to be like a beaten type metal. Well, I guess what you could do is you could just paint it black and really just like dab metal color on it, just to make it look like it's really worn, and then give them like a fancy jacket and a little hat. There's just like a lot. There's just like a ton of detail in their models, which is a good and a bad thing. One, it's good because it looks cool, but it's bad because you got to paint it, and that's a lot of work. And I can't do what everybody else does and just hire somebody else to go paint my stuff. Although I will have a couple of weeks free during my not working period. I might be able to finish up all the Shatterpoint stuff. And then Dobby can be a free elf. And we mixed in a little bit of white. I think on the camera you're probably not going to notice like a huge difference with this one. This one just kind of reinforces where the high point is. And we just keep it plugging away. Charles, it is a shame that you live such an insane distance away from everybody, because if we lived nearby, we would definitely be playing games. Because like after you're done with your military stuff, where are you gonna live? I'm assuming Tim convinced you to move to Oniana. Illinois, yeah, that makes sense. Then you and Tizzy can be best friends. Play with your dollies together. Okay, so as you can see, that skin has a little bit more depth to it. Or again, I'm not even sure depth would be the right word. Maybe like there we go. Like you can see how it has like so much more like contrast to it. There's like so much more red. It definitely gives a more like bruised and battered type look. Well, what do you want to do for work, Chuck? I mean, I know a lot of people. I treat a lot of people. I'm actually might be able to help you get a job. But yeah, as you can see, like that one, it's definitely darker up on the top end here, just because I know that the helmet's going to be there, so there'll be more shade there, so it's going to be a little darker. The machine gunner, again, same thing. And again, when you look at it from the camera, it looks much more stark than it would in person. Now, what you'll notice is that it's the blends there are not like super great. I already knew that it wasn't going to be. So, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some 5 o'clock shadows with some Macaria standard gray. Something with no responsibility. Well, you can always be my front staff girl if you want to do that. You just have to be cute. The patient comes in and you're back. Hey there, mister. That sure is a nice set of pants you have on. I don't know how to flirt, sorry. So again, 5 o'clock shadow. You just take this gray, you really, really water it down, and then you just start kind of toning the areas that you would expect someone to have facial hair. So like around the cheeks, or below, I should say below the cheeks. But it kind of depends on the person, of course. And you don't have to do this on every model. I like to do it just to kind of break it up. Because especially like veterans and stuff, they're not sitting around shaving. Like Wilmar, I'm pretty sure does not shave. I don't think Wilmar has the ability to grow facial hair. I don't qualify. Like I said, I might be able to find something. But I mean, what do you do in the military? Like, surely it must be like applicable. There you go. You see how that 5 o'clock shadow kind of helps make it look less red and kind of brings it in line with the skin tone because it helps like blend it. Babysit. Well, hey man, let me tell you, people need babysitters. You can be like that movie The Rock is in, Tooth Fairy or whatever. I think if you look at you and you squint a little bit, you kind of look like The Rock. Seriously inebriated. Well, hey, man. I know where we could find some of those. This is Beantown, man. There's a lot of drinking going on up here. Seriously inebriated. That one really tickled me. Good job. Oh, man. Maybe you should be a comedian. And again, if you do this, you don't necessarily need to put 5 o'clock shadows on all of them. I like to put them on most of them just because it to like various levels, where some of them have like a little bit lighter than others. One or two of them I might even leave like plain baby face because maybe they did shave. There you go. So now it's a question of where do we want to go next. So we could do the black. I think that would really help clean up a lot of the models. So the black will include the boots, all the guns that are black, like the PPSHs, and the barrels of the Moise Nagants, which I think there's only one? Oh, there's two. Alright, so there's two Moise Nagants, and then two? Yeah, two Moise Nagants. The rest have PPSHs and grenades, and then all the boots. Because they're all black. Okay, so that's what we'll do. Let's do the black. Because next we would do khaki if we're still going after this, so we got like another 30 minutes. You know, black's gonna take a while. Let's do the khaki. The khaki. So same green, same green that we used last time, which is yellow green. I really like this for khaki. We're just gonna do all these in this kind of khaki. Again, like we were doing earlier, some of the khakis will look different, but because this is a selection of like models where it's only like the areas around their faces and stuff, We're not looking to get like too fancy here. So we're just looking for the people that have the things to keep their necks warm. The neck, I don't know if it's technically like a neck gaiter, but hold on, get this thing to stop focusing. And this should also include a lot of the bags, the ammo bags and all that, and anybody that has the straps that go around the shoulders. So like this bag right here, that would be khaki. Now the cool thing is with that white done, once this stuff starts getting painted in, you're going to really start to notice the white. It's going to get better. Every single time you paint something, that is going to take away from the overall just impression that everything is white. You're going to notice that the white's going to get better, because it becomes more and more sharp and more like in focus, because not every single thing is the same color. And a lot of their gloves are also this khaki color. So this one I'm going to paint not khaki because it's touching a khaki bag, just to help with some differentiation. He definitely has the neck gaiter. The helmet will also be green, but it will be a actual like Russian colored green. The strap of the helmets appears to also be the khaki color, so we'll just fill that right in. Nice and easy peasy. I'm even tempted to paint these, like the fur on his collar khaki as well, just to differentiate it from the white that the rest of the model has. Because one of the models that I had painted before had a similar coat, and I did that. So it might be a good idea to like kind of keep that consistent. Let's see here in a second. He does have a strap for the PPSH. And this is obviously not perfect. As in that it's obviously not fully painted, right? But you'll notice that as more and more of that other color gets put in there, that white starts to become less like glary, just because it really starts to like power down. And in this case, it's the camera that doesn't want to look at it how it's supposed to. So in this case, that should be enough of that green. Should we put it on the collar thing? I don't know. Reference photos say no. But I think I will. Again, just to kind of... Yo, Will, what up, buddy? Dr. Damn Dizzle. Hell yeah, bro. How's it going, Will? It was sad not to see the New Jersey boys come to Ironweld, but I was told that you guys had to pick between Ironweld and ACO. And I don't blame you for picking ACO. It's a little closer for you guys. Before you ask, Will, I'm not going to ACO. I've really thought about it, but I think I'm going to be unemployed when it's happening, and I think I should just not spend the money as much as I would like to go. Even though I know I could make it cheap, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's real close to ACO. Currently working on 2 tables. Oh, that's sweet. Good on you, man. Is it like painted stuff, or is it like pre-painted stuff that you picked up? Yeah, boo and boo indeed. Boo, boo this man. It's like a case of like it's just money that I just don't want to spend. Usually I'm not like a real stickler for like not doing something just based on cost, but I'm probably gonna take a big pay cut at the new job for the first couple months, especially. So I keep thinking to myself like, let me just be responsible. As much as I hate to admit it. Because paying rent is important. And rent in Boston is crazy. Brian, alright, he's bringing 6 tables and God. In addition to the 12 Frontline Gaming is providing, I have 4 of 6 tables. That's great. You run that time, buddy. What else you got to paint? Because ACO is next weekend, isn't it? If it's next weekend, bro, you should have been here painting with me, painting that now. Well, yeah, what else do you have left to finish? Hydra-based stuff and destroyed city turn. Destroyed city turn. What is Because I'm assuming the Hydra-based stuff is the AMG stuff, right? Where it's like the turrets, I assume. And I'm assuming the destroyed terrain stuff is not like an AMG product. Make sure we get his straps. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. The like the gas station in the cars. I bought some yeah. Like, did you buy like some model kit tanks? I've seen some people do that, and it looks really good. Like the model kit stuff. Like I think it's O scale is like pretty close to MCP scale. Also, something that ACO has that we don't up here in Massachusetts is Wawas. I really miss Wawas. Sure, Trina's all 3D print. Yeah, hell yeah. 3D printers are great. The Sentinel terrain is kind of... I'm not really a huge fan of Sentinel terrain. It's just, it's weird having, like, the sign, which is, like, size... It's, like, size 4 or something like that, but you can, like, see through it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like how it's see-through. And it's, like, so big. Just not a huge fan of that. I don't like it. It's cool looking though, don't get me wrong. Yeah, O-scale is pretty accurate. If you need like cheap, interesting terrain for MCP, you could definitely always go with like train terrain O-scale. So right now, I just realized that while I'm at the stage that I'm at, since I have all the paints for the skin readily available, I better just paint the eyeballs. Just in case I get some spillage on anything around them that has to be painted khaki, I might as well paint that now. Well, I wish you luck, Mr. Will. I'm assuming you're playing in the event. I know Tim needs someone to help him stream. So if you're not playing, you should definitely help him stream. Yeah, the size 3. Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. It's quite frustrating. It's like I can totally see you right now. No, you can't. Stop it. Or you want to like move through it, or your character's only size 2 and doesn't have like you're just like I can't figure it out. I can't just walk through it. I'm judging with Brian. We're going to help Tom. Okay, so yeah, you guys are going to help him with the stream. Yeah. I debated going today, just because I knew I was going to have the time, but eventually, yeah. Again, like I was saying, it's just I just don't think I can tell myself it's okay. Well, you need to get them to have Infinity at ACO. Then I would be there. Or hell, even Malifaux. Heck, even Bolt Action. I'm not even sure for that. Go there, play for a day or whatever, and then help Tim do whatever. But it's only like GW games, and ironically enough, if you look at the website, I think it says a MCP is a GW game on the website. If you look at the ACO website, it says MCP is a Games Workshop game, which I got a good chuckle out of. Then actually, speaking of both things, excuse me? Girl, you being real? No, they do not have Infinity. Infinity was at Elvio, but they had some kind of argument with the guys who run it over there in Nevada, and so they still do it on the same day. They just don't do it in the same convention. So Elvio has Infinity, sort of, but it's like in the building next to it or something like that. How did you get a job with Warlord? I must have a serious lack of knowledge of what it is you do for work. And in part of the team. Oh, no kidding! Oh, that's great. So you work for Warlord, or do you work for a company that is like contracted by Warlord? No kidding. That's great. Dude, congratulations. That's super cool. I'm not even going to pester you on getting me a product. So do you play Warlord games? No kidding. They're bringing to London. That's, dude, incredible. That's kick ass. But do you play Warlord games? I don't think I've ever seen you pull out like a historical or anything. Yeah, everybody, round of applause for Will. That's awesome. He's living the dream. Yeah, they do a lot of historical stuff, Warlord. They also do the Judge Dredd game, Warlords of like Atreus or whatever it is, and they also have like a Street Fighter game there for a little while. Not at all. Yeah, you've seen both. Yeah. Really? Oh. Interesting that you got a job with them. Yeah, I've been playing Bolt Action since like first edition. I'm a big old history buff, so my need to grognard out on ancient stuff that nobody cares about. Too strong. I worked in hobby distribution for... That makes sense. So you're just going to be part of like the the logistics of getting stuff to like product to stores in North America, I assume. Anybody still paying attention? I'm using bleach bone. Part of the inner part of the eye. And I will also be using this for painting teeth. From anybody shouting. Worked in hobby. New account, that makes sense. Signing up new North America stores and passing them off to sales rep. Work from home. Hey, that's great. Let's just say, as someone who works in a career choice that will literally never be able to work from home, I'm jealous. Let me rephrase that, but as per the definition of the word jealous, I'm envious. So I guess you're just trying to find stores that aren't selling product and you're trying to get them to stock Warlord. Which I can't imagine is that... Like, I feel like you see Warlord everywhere. But I guess you're... Oh, because I guess there is, like, new stores. I guess you're, like, targeting, like, stores that have just opened. Yeah, right. Well, now that I know, now that I know you have that job, if I bump into any stores that don't have Warlord, if they're looking to expand, I'll send them your way. But I think every store I go to up here has Warlord stock. So there's just like a push from Warlord to open more product specifically in the United States. Is there like a specific reason other than just that's how business is done? Including Canada, just normal expand. Yeah. So no, there's no like they're not like pushing for like any specific reason. That's super cool. I imagine Bolt Action is going to be the seller. Like Bolt Action and I wonder what their other big seller would be. Like their new epic stuff is cool. I really enjoy the Napoleonic one for the Waterloo set. Me and my buddy actually play General Desarmés with the armies. Is Mythic America big though? Like, do people really buy it? There is definitely a new edition of Bolt Action coming out. Yes, there's not a ton of information on it yet as far as like actual mechanics, but they did announce that the first Armies of book is going to be Germany, which I think has always been the case. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I guess I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, because it's definitely crazy how expensive old world models are. I was thinking of buying the new Knights on Foot, and I saw the price, and I was just like, BGBs, no thanks. Like, I get that it's, I think, what, 20 models for $80, but it's like, yee. Like, buying, if you were like wanting 2 units of those, like, since they're heavy infantry, like, it kind of takes away the sting a little bit. But if you wanted to run multiple units of that, like, that's, as soon as you, again, not counting discount stuff, you buy 2 units just for 40 of them, that's $160. That's like more money than like starting a new army in some games. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you wanted to play Cyberpunk, you could buy literally almost everything in the faction for 150. Getting into Bolt Action super cheap, super easy. Like, their little army boxes, like you buy one of their infantry boxes, it's like, I want to say they're going for like 60 now. 60, you get like 36 dudes, all multi-pose kits. I'm definitely, I'm a Warlord shill. So you found what's the right word? An ally, I guess, in me. I think I will wrap up at 10:30. I've been doing the articles for Combat Zone. If you're at all curious, kind of gives a little bit of a very cursory glance at it. It's a great game. The guy that is in charge of the rules actually lives really close to me, so he's actually going to be running the campaign that we play at the store, which that's a pretty unique opportunity to go and actually play it with the guy that makes the rules. So usually, he was even saying like, yeah, I'll probably just like make some stuff up, like we'll probably do some like stuff I was thinking about maybe putting into the game or something. We'll just play it, you know. It's just like, okay, sure. It's a great box. The don't feel like you need to get the starter box because all of the cards and stuff I think come in the gang boxes. I'm pretty sure. So if you don't get the main box, don't panic. All right, then we take the old micro pan, and we're picking out eyeballs. Oh yeah, make sure you pick it up then. Do you work at a game store or are you working at like distribution for another game company? Like you're working for Diamond or something? Okay, so you just work for a different distribution company. Like, hey man, I'm always trying to get my hobby dollar to go an extra mile. If I could get stuff for a discount, I know I would. I just really like helping stores, because I know that at that point it's like more than just me. Like I buy it, I get to enjoy it, but it's like, oh yeah, well now the store I go to gets to stay open. Like I know not what I don't like is not everybody feels that way. Yeah. Let's just say I'm glad I stopped buying MCP when I was, because yeah, there was a minute there where I was buying everything. Which I think puts me in an interesting spot, because now when I go to stores, if they don't have stuff for the game I'm like actively playing, I can always just pick up an MCP model. And it's funny, I was talking to other people about this, but like what it takes from a game store to make like a community stay alive is like, I feel like in a lot of ways it's like super complicated, but then it's also like it's simple but it's not easy, in that like from our local store, I've pretty much been doing all of the event running for the games that I play, so like Bushido, Infinity, and all that stuff. And it's like the amount of effort it takes to use something like Longshanks, right? So like with Infinity, you have to have the codes to start an event, so you have to buy one of their ITS kits to get the code and blah blah blah. But if you wanted to just like run an MCP event, you don't need anything like that. You could just literally open up Longshanks and just do an event. And it's real. What amazes me is like there's so many stores where the owners just won't do that. So like even if they don't play the game, they could say like, hey, there's an event on Saturday the 29th or whatever. Everybody comes in and they don't even have to play the game because they can just announce the pairings. Like it's really not that hard. But like so many stores just don't want to do it. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's funny because like even our local store was just me and the guy that worked at the store, and then eventually it turned into like this big thing. It's since kind of withered away with everything going on, but it's funny how quick you can get it to just like activate and just turn into like a whole thing. Really, it's your very first tabletop game? No kidding. And did you work in distribution and all that like before this? Like before you started playing? Picking out these straps tricky. Yeah, and the thing is like when this black starts getting painted, this white is just gonna it's just gonna look great. About the same time, I don't carry MCPs, and I have saved somebody. Why don't they carry MCP anymore? You think it would sell, right? Oh, you mean like specifically like distribution type? Yeah, okay. Yeah. No kidding. I would have. Yeah, I got what you're saying now. Okay. Yeah, no kidding. So, are you gonna start playing Warlord games? Like, are you actually gonna start playing them, or just sell them? I'll finish up what paint I got here before I wrap up. Usually I would keep going, but I am feeling it today. I am exhausted. They're good games. I've played like a lot of them. I've played a lot of Warlord games. They're all at least okay. Like Bolt Action's probably the most widely accepted. I really like Victory at Sea. It's probably sneakily one of the most fun rule sets that I've played by them. It's very much a more modern take on like Battlefield Gothic, without the charts. It has some charts, but it's mostly just for, like damage tables and stuff like that, as opposed to the number of dice, like moving left and right on the firing chart thing. What else? Blood Red Skies is fun. It's it's fast. It can be really, really fast. Blood Red Skies, and then Black Seas is actually really, really good. Yeah, so if you like actual really good historical tables look super cool, where it's not just like a green mat with just like a couple like European buildings on it. Sometimes they'll like a good Stalingrad table. Yo, those Stalingrad tables look legit. I played one. It was for Flames of War, but it wasn't for a Warlord game. But they made a Stalingrad table at like that 15mm scale. It was sick. Sick. Okay, I'm out of paint. Yeah, Black Sea is legitimately like a really good game. A buddy of mine, we played it over the course of what am I trying to say? Like COVID. We played it online. We played it on like TTS, and we had a blast. Absolutely phenomenal time. And the campaign system for it, where you run like a little like smuggling company, is pretty good. Where you have to like try and sneak stuff to back into Europe. All right, guys. So let's do a little quick little review of what we did. We got a lot. I think we got a lot done. I'll be honest. Because again, we're kind of measuring this from the point of view that we're painting 10 models at once. I really like the Sergeant, the PPSH over his head. I really like this one. This is a great sculpt. This is probably my other favorite sculpt. I really like the guy running forward. I got a thing for guys with cadet hats, with stuff covered on. There's like a German version of that. Absolutely one of my favorite sculpts of all time. And then this other one's probably the closest. Yeah, as you can see, I'm very tired. So, as you can see, really cool thing with like the protective camouflage, like covering up one of the bags and stuff. We can do some cool shading with that. Gun on the back, that'll be black, obviously, and then just some cool areas to do a little bit of green work here and there. Obviously, it'll look way, way different when the entire base is black and we're like dry brushing it with that gray. I think it's coming out pretty good. I think we'll probably switch up the glove colors for each of them. I'm gonna keep working on these guys on my own, not on the stream. If I don't finish them, I might paint them next stream just to get them done, because I've already started them, so I might as well finish these guys. I don't think it'll take too long. But then after that, sky's kind of the limit. We can paint whatever. I still gotta finish up the R2D2s. I was working on this guy last night after the stream had ended. I came back and painted a little bit more after I had dinner. But I started working on R2D2 and started putting the blue in there, and it really breaks up that white. And the dome color does seem to be like the right color, actually. Every time I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that looks like R2. And then R2 and C3PO. Same thing, just kind of traced in the blues. It legitimately does actually look like R2. For some reason, wasn't really like connecting with me. Where I was just like, it looked literally like I was just painting a trash can. I was just painting a white trash can. But then once you start really getting the blue in there, you're just like, actually, yeah, that does look like R2. And then after I finish him, I'll obviously go back and do some work on C-3PO, just to get it all done. So some of these models, this one will probably be the black, but this one will be like a jungle base. This might be what I work on next week. I'm not sure. Just kind of keep me posted on what you guys want to paint. You guys can get in touch with me. I'm always on Discord, Dr.Deee at dr.d, or you can email me at furypainting@gmail.com. I'm usually pretty quick to respond. These days I'm not entirely sure when I'll be able to respond just because of how busy I am at work. But tomorrow I actually get a front staff, so that'll be crazy. And then the other thing that I got to finish up is I got a bunch of like Bushido models that still need to get finished up. This is one of the Kabuki models that I never fully finished up. But I was thinking of doing some cool OSL stuff because there's like a little lantern thing here. And yeah. So lots of good options. If you guys have a preference, give me a heads up and I could definitely do it. If you guys really, really want something specific, I can always order it and stuff. But I've just kind of been on a kick with the Warlord stuff. Just because I got a bug up my butt and I was like, I want to paint Winter Russians. And I've really been having fun. That's what that khaki will look like when it's done. Where it definitely has like nice deep greens in there. So, guys, I know you don't care, and you're probably just going to drop the stream as soon as I start talking about it. Patreon is around. Please use it. If you want to support me specifically, use the Digital Nomad tier. You get access to all the stuff that you would with most of the other tiers. And it specifically goes to me to help me afford replacing audio equipment and paying for all the subscriptions to software that I didn't think I'd ever have to pay for. But here we are. And it really does help me out with getting my life on track because I am starting a business here fairly soon. So, are you going to treat me real nice? I'm going to treat you real nice. Also, listen to Arachne if you're even remotely interested in Infinity. I got lots of Infinity stuff that I need to paint, so that will definitely be on the stream at some point. And if there's a specific model or anything you guys are interested in looking at or watching me paint, keep me posted. I obviously got a lot of Marvel stuff too, so like Marvel Zombies, I still got to paint like the entire thing, so I got all the bystanders and stuff. So if there's anything that you guys are really interested in, just keep me posted. I keep repeating myself because I don't know how to do outros yet, and it's been a blast. So please enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you very much for coming in and hanging out with me. I've really enjoyed it. Obviously, a lot of you guys I already know, and you're some of my best friends, and I don't know what I would do without you guys. So keep it popping out there, and don't let the lack of painting gods get you, I guess. Bye! Or the chin, because these areas are the ones that jut out the most, so it requires more hair for it to be harder to see. It'll be like the most transparent. And then just make sure you get along the ridge line, or the jaw line. And then just make sure you also make sure it's in front of the ear, because that's where the hair actually grows. So if they have something on their face, that makes it easy. But what you do is you can do a couple layers, and what this will do,
which is kind of brutal, especially when you have somebody like Toad who's like, I'm just going to hang out back here, snap that one objective, and then run away. Yep. He now can't do the runaway piece. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like Black Widow's the same way. Nebula don't care. Objectives aren't real. Objectively, they're objective. Objective, yep. Yeah. Yep. So I'm just trying to, make the game last longer because this is going to be quick. So we are going to start out with Black Widow over here.
I'm like a ripe grape. You just got to step on me. Don't clip that. Domino. Gotta love her.
Domino.